So hi everyone, welcome again to my YouTube channel Fitness Peak Computer Geek. So in the last video we have seen that we have completed our designing the our e-commerce app, that is ClickShop. So today we're gonna deploy that application. So we have done everything like pagination, the adding to cart, and everything was there. Okay, stocks are empty actually. I think someone have purchased all this. Okay, so we have seen that we can add to cart, we can check out, we can do everything. So payment and place order. So before that we need to log in also. So if you do continue, we need to log in and everything. So I've done this entire website. We have done design the carousel also. Now we will deploy this application. I will show you. You can modify the CSS also, like you can make it in mobile view and everything. You can do that. So that will be other part of development, because you already seen lots of video that I have shown you how to do that. So it won't be a difficult task. So I just want you guys to deploy this application now. That will be my first priority. In a later video, in the code itself, you will find the Git repo to actually having those CSS. Okay, I will include those. So you already know that. That's why I'm not showing that CSS again. So it will be pretty long video. Already you have so many lectures. So I just wanted in lesson how to deploy this application. Okay, so let's do that. So for that, what we need Docker actually. So you need to have prior knowledge of Docker. It's not a lecture on Docker, so I will not get into depth of that. But remember that it's kind of application that ship your project to anywhere else in the world, giving the same environment and the same installation guidance and everything. So for that you need to install this. Once you install it, you will find something like a Docker. You can see the containers, images, volumes, everything. So you can see the running container here. You can see the logs and everything. This is my other app actually. So I will show you later that project. So let's now deploy this. For that we need the Docker file. So let's search for Docker file. Docker file a text document that contain all the command the user should call to assemble an image. So we're gonna use all these commands: label and cell, user. We can do anything, volume. So we will use the Docker file. We need the Docker file for each of our application, that is the front-end, back-end, and the database. And we will bundle up to create a Docker compose file that we're gonna ship it to our GCP VM. That I will show you. Okay. So let's do that. So make sure that Docker is running first. Okay. Otherwise you won't be able to do anything. At the client side, you can create a Docker file. So in the Docker file, you need to write the application. So first thing will be to defining the image that this Docker file going to use. So you know that it's a React, so it will require a Node image that we gonna download from the Docker Hub actually. So if you go to Docker Hub, Node image, so you will go to Docker Hub. Even you will find the latest image here. So you can Docker pull that image, or you can directly put it in our the Docker file. So I'm gonna use you can see the Alpine version, full size version, but I'm gonna use Alpine. It's lightweight and very good for production. So I'm gonna use this image. So I'm not gonna use the 24, 23 one. It might not be stable. So I'm gonna go with 20. Okay, as per the recording of this video. So you have to write here from node, that is the name of the module, and version as well as the type of the image. Okay, I'm going to use Alpine. Now what you have to do? You have to create you can write a comment also here. Total line image and base image. So now we actually imagine like a container is a kind of a different application where we need to mention a directory where every installation and our the files from here will be copied. So actually basically we are shipping our application, so we're gonna have to copy, and we have to mention the directory where you're gonna copy. So we need that. For that you will gonna use work dr I'm gonna go inside the app directory. I will show you that how you will create that app. Okay, now the next thing is to copy package.json, package.log.json. So I'm gonna use, you can use star, that, but I'm gonna show you the whole thing. Package.json. So we need to, inside that we need this file, the package.json and package log.json to be inside the work directory, so that we can run the npm install to take the dependency from this file which we copied from here, and we can run the install.dependency on that machine. So we're gonna do this. Next will install the dependency. So I'm gonna run npm install, that we already do. Okay, now the next thing will be copy the rest of the source code, that we will do copy inside the app directory. So you mentioned working directory, now we are officially inside a directory. Inside the directory you are copying this file, then running the installation, and I'm gonna copy the rest of the thing, that will be from this current folder to the app current folder. Okay, because current folder means the client folder. From this client folder we are actually inside a client folder, see that. So actually I will see you our client folder docker file. So inside this current we have all these files. Okay, and we will put it inside the app directory, Okay, this is the meaning of that. Okay, don't get confused here. So final thing, next thing will be expose the port where the app runs. So we're gonna expose, remember that it is running on 5173. You can export any port, doesn't matter. So we will write a command to start the app. It will be the cmd command, and we will write here npm run dev -dat, inside that on a host. Okay, it will start out development center inside the docker. So you can put npm start also, but it's just a basic example. But be careful, once you deploy an application to production, you should use npm start, not the development server. For simplicity I'm just showing you that. Okay, you can do that also. So now we have ready with the docker file. Let's go to server side now and create a docker file here also. So now it's client side. So almost all the thing will be same. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy the entire thing here. I'm going to paste it. I'm going to modify. So this port, remember that where port is 3000. So we're going to do here 3000. So rest is same actually, if you, because it's a both are in run, and the command will be different here. If you have to run using npm start. Okay, so we're done with the server side docker file also. Now we bundle up everything and we're going to create a docker compose file. So let's see what is docker compose file basically. A typically name docker compose file define and manage until multi-container. So we have multi-container, we will have database, we have backend, we have frontend. So how they're gonna communicate with each other inside a container, that is defined by docker compose. Volumes and everything will be there, allowing easy deployment and orchestration, like combination of everything. Orchestration you means that in concert. Okay, so you can read the official documentation. Go to quick start. LC sub is docker file, and inside that see the two different services, the web service, that is the backend, and the Redux service. So we need different services also, that's why we're doing that. So we'll create that image now. So we'll directly here, we'll name it as docker compose.yml. Okay, so now we'll build our application here. So we provide a version here, and we start our services. So see this is getting automatically giving me that. The first thing will be the DB. So we will actually list the services based on the dependency actually. So whatever service are not independent, we will write it first, then whatever service are dependent on it, we will write later. In that sequence we have to go. So first the DB is not dependent on anything, but the backend is dependent on DB and frontend dependent on backend. So we have to write the DB first here. Okay, hope you're getting it. So we can name it anything, services, it doesn't matter actually, but make sure to take care of the space actually. It's like a string, it's like a key value pair, but it like the bracket are replaced by this spaces. Okay, so we'll use image here, the official MongoDB image. Don't name it latest, because every time it will become latest step, it will install a new dependency and it might break your system. So let it be. Now next we put the container name. Container name will be okay, we'll name it like this. Oh, I am getting this error. Okay, we need to give the space actually. So see, this space is important here. So we'll set up the restart as always. Then we're gonna expose the port here, and port will be actually, I want to run it in 218, so I can show you the difference actually. The current is running 27017. I will show you difference and how it will run that. So after that we will do the volumes here to define the volume. Volumes is used to define actually the database. So since we are using Docker as database, which is not scalable actually, if you prune the Docker, everything will go. So I need to retain those things. What is Docker volume? Let's see what is volume. Persistent data is stored for container managed by Docker and stored in a host file system, allowing data to persist even after the container removed or restarted. Okay, got it. So we need the database to be persistent actually, because ideally you should use the MongoDB Atlas or anything. So deploy your and host your database there and use that credential. But I'm gonna make it a pretty simpler here, so that you can be familiar with Docker container and how to host the database in Docker itself. So for that we need volume. So it will be, we'll name it as Mongo Ecommerce data, because Mongo ECOMMERC so it will name it, and data we will copy the data part from the DB into this volume. See how to define a volume actually. We have life cycle also. You can read it, very interesting and very easier way to define here. You need to source and src destination. So this way. So next we'll define the environment. Name will be Mongo init DB root username. So be cautious about this. Till now we are not using any credential actually. If you see, local connection are made without any username and password, but for Docker we need to mention that. So that's why I'm defining here. So let's define it as root, and you have to mention the password. So we can name it anything, we can save it in the environment also, but for simplicity I will name it as Mongo 345. Okay, we'll give the simple password. You can change it according to you, and we have to mention the database itself. So if you don't mention it, you will also name it a test database, but if you want to explicitly define it database according to your the app, it is better to define that. Okay, So we're done with the Docker compose file for the DB services. Now what will next turn? Do we container the front end or the back end? Think about that, because database, the backend is dependent on database, not the front end. Front end is like API call to that backend, and backend making SQL query to the database. So actually backend is dependent on the front end directly, and backend dependent on the database directly. So we have to write here backend. We'll define the backend here. We'll use the build, how to build this backend image. We'll provide a context here that will be backend, actually the backend folder, and the Docker file will be the Docker file inside that backend container. And because we'll take from here actually this Docker file I'm talking about. So it will be server actually, because we have to inside the server, not backend. Backend service name and server is our folder name. Remember that you have to take the Docker file from that server where the backend is defined. It is defined on server side. So if you name it server also, doesn't matter. So now we define the container name. So we'll define as Ecommerce. What is the container here? It is Node.js application. I will do Node backend. Then we mentioned it should be inside this only build folder. So now we will have restart. That will always, actually it should be outside, because we are defining the build only for context and this Docker file. Okay, remember that we'll build on this Docker file because it will build this Docker file, that's why, and rests will become inside the backend only. So we define the volumes here first. So volumes will be server application, and we copy the app side. That's it. You're not gonna node module the volumes also. Someone will do that, but it's not a good practice actually. Suppose some packages are independent of like landing. Suppose the package operating system based dependent, so you cannot copy the load, cannot actually create the volume for the node modules. Okay. Now we go for ports. Ports will be actually 3003 actually. Why 3003? Because in my GCP VM I already running on 3001 and 2. So I choose this port, and default port of the container, that is 3000. Okay. Now we'll do depends on. That is the which it is depend on which service, depend on DB service you defined earlier. You have to remember that. Now we define the environment. So we'll define the Mongo URA here. And we are not defining the JWT secret and anything. We have already defined those. So I'm going to tab it, and I'm going to remove this. So just need the URI here from the environment. So see that how it's defining the environment here. We take in password and everything. Okay. And we define it as 18. Okay. E-commerce and the admin side port. Okay. Remember that. So it's very careful about this. Okay, now you can provide the commands also. npm start. We're done with the Docker file. We need to define, done with the backend service. Now we define the front-end service. Okay, hope you're getting it. How I'm designing the Docker file. That's why I didn't copy paste anything. I write it from scratch to make you people understand this thing. Okay, which is. If you understand anything, then it will easier to like get the flow. Otherwise you will always copy paste everything and you will not understand anything. Let's define the front end now. The front end, again the same thing. We need to define the build that will come from a client server, and Docker file, and container name will be the front end, and restart will always volume will create a killer client volume. Will provide the port. I will change this port and depend on backend. So let's do these things first. And okay, that's the okay client side. Okay, and we need to define here 5174. We cannot define 3000, already have defined, because that's why. And the default port is 5173. Remember the Docker file, we have defined expose port there, so we have to use that port. So depend on the backend. So let's, before define, let's give the environment here. Okay, we need to define actually for this node server, for this. So std open equal to true and tty equal to true, then we go to depends on. These are actually standard for the node, you have to use this. Okay, okay, so we've defined this. Finally we'll define the volumes. So volumes will be, we don't have to do this complicated thing, that's it. To mention here, let's name the container dash. This is the standard actually. I don't want to do this. We don't need this. It's environment variable, we are not defining that one, that's that. Okay, so one more thing I need to do, and we need to define this URI. So we are ready with this application. Now it's time to build this image, and before that we need to define a database URL, and we will kill our server first now because we'll run it now in Docker. So go to index.mjs and replace this with the URI. Actually it should come from environment, but for now simplicity I'm putting it here. Okay, don't get confused here. Deploy our application. So let's go to GitHub for bash shell. I need a bash shell actually, and we are inside the Ecommerce. So let's write this command. It's a docker compose up command. Docker compose, which file we need to mention? We need the docker ml, and we need to up it, and we want to build it in a similar way, and we're gonna run it in detach mode. Okay, so let's start this. So the Docker, not Docker. Let it build. So we already have this image, that's why it's taking so fast, but yeah. See how this running. It's a followed layering approach actually. See, export layer, this layer finished. Once it's finished, it will export. That is the benefit of Docker. It's layering approach, so anything went wrong, it will roll back. Okay, all the images connect. You can do Docker PS to see all the images. Okay, MongoDB and everything, and now it is time to connect the database. So we'll connect using this connection string in our Atlas, in campus. So this is our local, and we'll name it as production. Okay, let's connect. So for logs, you need right here Docker logs, that's the tail, the last 50 running logs. We have to write the container here. See this, our database running or not. A6, our container name. So it is running, waiting for connection actually. So let's see what happened, why you're not able to connect this. Actually it should be 117 because we are inside the DB container and we're taking their port actually. The DB database that is inside the network actually, so we need to change this also. and we need to down the container. Let's see how to down it. And then we again up and build. Let's see now how we are able to connect it or not. Why we are not able to connect? I think it's localhost, not DB, and it should be 18 only. Yeah, because we are now outside the container, we cannot access DB here. That's why. Okay, say connected, perfect. And we have our database also. Actually, our test, we don't have any data, but the database is created now. Perfect. So this is actually the production DB. So now we're ready to go. Let's see the logs in backend, if anything not broken. So now we practice these commands. Actually, it will come in handy. Okay, it's successful, and don't forget about this. Actually, it is for the part that I provided here. Okay, so we're ready to test now. Let's run this application on 5174. Now we're going to run it 5174. Let's see what will come. Why you are not able to run it? What is happening here? So let's see the front-end logs. Okay, it's getting error here. Actually, the node module creating the issue. That's what I'm thinking. CD client, and from here we'll remove that. These two, and again install the dependency in Docker file, actually, because you've shipped that application. Okay, hopefully it's removed. Okay, so we'll delete all the volumes also. This is the command to delete that. So build with no cache. So everything will be rebuilt now, because the npm installation is causing the issue also. In the last time I was testing also. So we need to remove that part. When to install to get the package.js, actually we remove that part. See that was installation not done again. See this, it was not happen earlier. That's why we're getting this. Okay, hopefully everything went well now. Went well now. Okay, we didn't up it up. We need to up it. Now, okay, let's see, there is no error this time. That's making slow. The issue was because of this node module, which I was not creating the volume for that. So we need the node modules in the host machine. Otherwise it won't able to replicate the scenario that is present here. Okay, that's why we're getting the issue. So now if you go here, you will get this, but you can see there is no products, and you will get this weird kind of error. So remember that we don't have any user now and any data also. So if you go here, okay, and if you check here, we don't have any user, so we need to create some user. Then we need to create everything here actually, then we can see the data. So one thing you can do here, from you can register directly here. Let's give me the prod prod@gmail.com. Give it a password. So you will get one error actually. So what is the error? Let's see. You will see that connection refuse. So why this is happening? Now we don't require this. So let's do one thing. Let's commit our changes first. Oh no, let's go to index. Now the first thing is, if you go to product file, I will show you. Let's go to product actions actually. Close the server and let's go to action. Yeah. So you can see the local host 3000. We are making an API call. So this is creating an issue actually. So what you need to do, so one way you can put it in environment, another thing, but we need to fix this actually. We need to make a API call to now. If you go to Docker Compose file, you will see that we need to make, now it's running on 3003. So from outside the container we need to go localhost 3003. Same thing you do for MongoDB. If you remember here, if you see the connection string here, where is that? Yeah. So if you see a connection string, so localhost 27108. So we need to do localhost 303 because we are running outside the port and we need to provide the 303 here. And one more error it will come actually. So what we need to do here, so every API will replace this. First let's do this part. Okay, 8 occurrence. Let's replace all this. Okay, and first thing we need to do with the error user section also, and need to copy this thing. So you can create an environment variable also, but I prefer this way. So you can go here and just replace this with all the occurrence here. Okay, of everything inside the codes only, all API calls. So and replace the orders also. So there only we are making the API calls here. So all these action files only will replace that, and we will replace that. One more thing I will show you later, but for now let's do this part. So if you remember, one more thing we are making API call, it's actually for the images. So later we'll replace this. So do for user login, and one more thing we need to do, that is the course error. You will get a course error now. I will show you that. You already know it will come. So let replace this. You need to provide the remember that now it is running on actually 5174. So we need to list it here also. Later we will replace this with the production URLs also. Okay, so let's go here, let's down it and up it again. That is only issue with Docker. We need to restart every time we make a minor changes also. So it will work now. Oh no, I'm done mistake here. We need to discard these changes. Actually, I should be doing like this. It should be only this only. I just followed his path and he giving me wrong. This stupid bastard. So we need to replace this. Okay, only localhost will replace. Okay, so we need to do this again every time. So I make a mistake here actually. Okay, perfect, no error. So user will be created now. See. Okay, so this way we make a API call. So I will and pause the video. I will fill everything, and later we will see how to deploy it in our VM. Okay, again we have to fill that again also there. So better I will fill in VM only. Okay, I just wanted to show you how to do that. So let's commit our changes. Docker setup API URL. Okay, let's do that now. Today I will show you how to use host your image in S3 Bucket or any cloud storage system like on cloud storage on GCP if you want. So what is the issue right now? Right now if you see, we are storing all our images in local file, that is upload. So it's not very efficient. It will not cause any effect in this scenario because it's very small project, but you should have the products. If you have to make your application production live, you have to store your images basically in S3 and use that images. So we will remove that image actually, and we will store all the images in our database. Okay, so we are using the upload folder. We will use those to from S3. So for S3 setup, you have to create a bucket in your S3. I will show you how to use. For that, you should have your IAM user account in AWS, which will be helpful. So let's begin that. Before that, let's go to S3 and create our bucket first. So this is my S3. So we have our buckets, so you have to create your bucket first. So remember that you can only log into your bucket if you have the IAM account. Okay, so for permission you need to provide this permission to get the ACL permission to read and write. So I'm gonna copy this. You have to rename your S3 here actually is Ecommerce images, or you can rename it clicks of images. Okay, so rest so see that earlier ACL was there, so access control list. So now AWS recommended that use the this only recommended disabled for security reason, using a bucket policy instead of ACL to share the user outside your account. So bucket policy that I have defined there, you have to use that. Okay, so let's go with default one. So we have to enable this because if you don't enable that, then there will be no access to access. So we need to enable this. Okay, let's let it be, and let's get our bucket. Perfect, we have our bucket. So paste those images, and one more thing, you have to use this. otherwise it won't work. Okay, AWS 3 clicks of images, so same as this one. Okay, so this will allow it from outside, allow public read, if you see this. Okay, so that we can access this images later. So okay, let's save these changes. Okay, perfect. Now we are ready to go. First thing I will do is to upload an default image here that I will use to do something. So let's use this sample image. And upload it. Perfect, we have our image, and you can see this is our the image URL. So you will see the image here. Okay, that is object URL. See, you are getting the images. This is coming from directly coming from S3. Okay, and now you can add all the images like in similar way, but we want to code it out for the user to like once like in the admin side, if they want to add their images, it should be directly come into S3 bucket. So we don't give the user an S3 permission so that he can like go to S3 and upload manually. So we have to code it out. So I will show you how to use it. Later I will come back here and use this S3 image to show you to load the default image. Okay, so let's go get back into our code base now and start coding. Before that, let me see what we need libraries for that. Firstly, we need this library. So this library actually, so see this is the this is actually used to write an APIs to the S3 bucket to like publish your image or whatever, publish your file, anything. So it will use the S3 client to set up the client provided the reason, and we can use this actually code to send an API to create to get anything, like it will list the bucket, number of bucket we have. We don't require that, but we will send our images to be stored there. That's it. So we're going to use this. So I'm going to copy this. I want to stable version that I've used in earlier, so I do npm install. We have to get up to client first, not mono model. Npm install. We'll just specify the specific version and install it now. There are so many packages, so if you go to now, we should have our perfect S3 we have. So we're gonna keep it, we're gonna use some of command. So let's install the next library, Malter S3. So v3 version you're gonna use, and SDK also we are using v3 version. They can say the 3 point something, so it will compatible. So let's install this library also. So Malter we already have, Malter S3 we have. Perfect. First of all, let's set up the environment variable, ENV in Node Express. It's something like that. So we have to use this actually .config, then required, then we will use this process.env. Okay, so we need to install this library. So I think I already installed, maybe let's check it. Yeah, already have this. We have to set up the path in index.js, and it should go something like that. So it is telling like environment variable should be here only, and if you want to specify the but we'll put the environment file actually in the server level, outside the server level. See this in the project level. So you have to specify the path here. Okay, let's try to do this in Node in index.js first. Docker, we need to tell about the environment file here. Okay, on the backend side, let's put it in server level, so it will be very easier to call from there. I have to mention the path here because anyway we are not storing the React side any environment variable, so or you can store it also, no issue in that. Let's see how we can do that. If I put the environment, or let it be, suppose we want to put the URL in the node side, how will we load that? So let's try this way, let it be. So import .env from .env, we have to make the config with the path in one level up. See, in the same folder, it is saying same folder, but we need to go 2 level up. This is index.am is inside a source folder that is inside the server, so we need to go 2 level up. So it will take us to 2 level up. The first level will be the source level, we will up here, source level, we will go outside, we will server level. In server we don't have ENV, so we will go actually we don't have the path level in MJS, so you have to use this dir. Actually we don't have default dir, so that's why you have to use this way, and you have to import the path also, but path should be above. I don't want to be stored there. Yeah, ES model don't have the dir name. Okay, that's why I'm using that. So we need to do one more thing here. We need to provide the exact path actually. So path will be, okay, so in this way we'll get the path, absolute path to the .env, that is our outside server. Okay, let's console log this. So it should be .env. We have here .env. Okay, .env only now. Let's see this. What do we get? Let's run the server manually now. So npm so you are getting this .env parse vault config bgrep everything. What it is saying, it's saying something else. See, process env process.env dot something like we have. Let's see, we can getting it not. Okay, we are able to load it. Perfect, it's working now. So we can remove this. I want to see one more thing here. Do I need the configuration in all other files, or it will work? To see, figure it out actually, it will work or not. Let's go to products only. We'll run some API and see it will coming or not. Okay, let's hit via postman. So let's log in some user again. 3000 only now. Okay, so let's prod only, get the token. Prod Jamel, we made it Jamel actually by mistakenly. Okay, let's go to token, because we don't have that right now, it won't work. So let's do this way. Let's check our connection here. Perfect. We should have our e-commerce website, and yes, everything will be there now. So let's see now. It should work now. So let me restart the server. It should work now. Let's see. Let's try to do test. Okay, let's undo everything. It was great, yeah. Okay, we get the token. I just want to load the environment variable. So let's go to product. What we have, get products only. What was the API where we have written our print statement? Yeah, gets product. So okay, we do not need that. And let's go like this way. So you should hit the API and we should get okay, environment is loading. Great. So now let's work on the S3 side. So remove this kind of statements from server actually. So for use the S3, we have to provide the AWS credential. For that, we have to set our environment. So for our environment, we will provide this. So instead of these changes, you will use your own. I'm not going to show my AWS credential here, so you can use your own. No issue. We have to just remember key value here and put your credential. Okay. So but we know the bucket name already. So bucket name is clicks of images. So I'm going to put this. Rest I will put secretly. Okay. Let's get one more file here. Otherwise our credential will be exposed actually. What I can see, I should create the environment in server itself. So new file .env. Okay, now it won't be tracking. Okay, it's not tracking anymore. This is the environment file that we have creating here. So that's okay now. See this. So we need to put the credential everywhere there. So I need to actually change this again, the setting here. We don't have to do these many pain in the ass things. So just do here .env .config. That's it. So it should load our environment variable. Okay, let's put something and see this, test it's working or not. Like port, what was that? Let's do port only. .303. I just need to show this environment variable coming or not. So after I'm not going to let's console log this. So we should get this now. Okay, let's see what happened here. Okay, why is good? Okay, because it's throwing error because of that port, because we are not using 303 actually, that's why. So we have to set up the port, but for now it's working. I just wanted to see that. We are going to remove this and now it will work. So I just wanted to see that environment is loading or not. Okay, so let's remove this part. So I will put all my changes here now, because it was tracking this ENV. I don't want it to track, because if once track, you will get you will get warning from AWS that your credential has been exposed. So I don't want you guys to be in that situation, and we will delete this file. Now we are ready to go. So we have loaded the environment. I'm not going to show it now because it's very sensitive information, but yeah, so we can start designing our multiple library. Now we are ready to go. So go to middleware, create one file, maybe S3 uploader .mjs, and we'll write our thing here. So first we define S3 here. So if you remember how we're gonna do it, so go to S3 client here. So this way we'll define our client. Okay, new S3 client, and that will be coming from this S3 equal to new S3, maybe small S3 client. Okay, what is displaying? S3 capital. Okay, and we define our thing here. Okay, I'll show you what is to define. To first of thing, and import this. It's not coming. Let's import manually. Import. Okay, I wanted this only. What happened here? So it should now call now function. Okay, cool. We are now TDS file, so it's been called now. So okay, so let's provide the things. First thing is the reason. So we'll use the S3 reason that we have provided. Secondly, we'll provide a credential here, and that will be our credential, SSID, and our secret key. Done. Now we have set up the S3, so it will automatically pick up those keys. So we designed that. Now now the same thing what we have done here, we're going to do define the storage and use multer to define initialize the storage. So for storage we're not going to use a multer. Now we're going to use multer S3. Okay, that's the difference only. So constant storage equal to multer S3. So multer S3, we need to define it. Import multer S3 from, okay, something wrong. How it is possible? So it's not an default import. So this is only. Okay, now we are getting it perfect. The CS3 import, how it is defined here, interface and everything, TDS file. Okay, so now we can use this. Perfect. Why is that? Sorry. Here we first need to define the S3. So you will see this how it is working. So see this also define S3, then the bucket, then the metadata and the key. So everything is defined here. So what is metadata? Metadata object sent to S3, whatever we want to send to S3. Like the image name we will send. Key, name of the file, what is the name? ACL is being unused now. I cannot use ACL now. So let's do that. Bucket. So our bucket. Then we have metadata. Actually I'm gonna copy it everything here. It's the same thing. So it will be file field name, and naming will be like this. So I'm not going to use this naming. So it's only provided date time. I will use this way. So product with the date time now and the original value. Okay, I think we're done. Okay, we defined the storage here. We defined upload, const upload. multer the upload, and we're going to import this multer. Perfect, we have everything, and we need to export this. Upload to provide a default here. Okay, we're ready to use this. For sake of simplicity, I'm just going to see that my credential are loading or not. I just load the bucket name here. Bucket name you already know, so I can expose this. So yeah, anyway, but we will get into that. So now we can comment this out. We don't need this. Now we'll import not S3, it's upload only, na. Okay, we have our upload. Now let's see. We don't need this. We can close this. Let's go to here, and we are going to use this upload.image. That will show the image. So now we do changes here. Actually, it will be now request.file.location. It will be now location. Okay, or we will provide a default image here. So I'm gonna now get the default image, so which I will store in. So this is our image actually. If you see this, you will get the image. So I'm going to use this as default image. So I'm going to define it globally actually, or you can take it from the why we do that default URL. Yeah, today bring it from ENV. It will be great to bring it from ENV, but it's not a const default image S3 URL equal to so this image we're gonna use. Zone is anyway, zone is exposed, doesn't matter zone. So it will be your zone. So I will use it here. This image I am serving from S3 only because we're going to use the default image. So I'm directly saving it in a database. So when clicking on the image, you will get into the image. So, but the rest of image, I'm not saving it. I will serve it as upload file type. So we are using like default storing only. So it will give me the default image, default URL that will directly store in our S3 bucket, and which will going to store it on database directly the URL. So it's a better approach. We don't have to put two-way fetching. So in single URL, we will get the image from S3. Okay, from the Postman now. Later we'll get into the Docker side. So for post image, we need the client side admin. So let's go users. Let's see who is admin. Ben was admin. So let's use the Ben credential. What happened? We need to comment this also. Undefined. Where I'm getting this 144. We are not able to fetch the bucket here. Let's see. Okay, it was S3 bucket name actually. That's why we're getting the error. It's S3 bucket. Sorry about that. bucket. I'm providing the bucket out now. So actually the issue was we don't need melter here. So the issue is actually I have to use the .config here also. So means we are already using it in like index.mjs, but we still need to because index.am is calling, then it's calling the product router, that is go to product APIs. But in the S3 uploader, it directly called once the product MJS is being called. But S3 bucket were not calling the .env again, so we have to do that. So there is no harm. Now we can see we are getting the bucket. Okay, so it's working fine. So it's able to identify all the credential. So let's see. We are able to add any image in the to our new products. Okay, so for that we need token first. Let's see. Ben is admin, so we can use this token to actually create a products. Okay, let's see that it's working or not. Then we'll move to Docker. It should work or not? I'm not sure it will work. Last time we did something else. Now how to create products actually? So let everything remain same, and we need to change the header here actually. Let's see. Products should be added to S3. See, okay, it's written image sample image only. Okay, because it's not able to find the image, but anyway it's calling the S3, but I need to add anyway. How will I will add that thing? Is image is added, that is the S3 image, and our database is storing the S3 that URL, but I need the new URL to be added. To how to do that thing actually? Okay, let's see how can we add this image actually. It's very difficult to run this API from here also. Okay, let's test only. What was that? Ben at gmail.com. Ben at 123 npm run dev. Okay, let's try it. 7.3. So it will have the products also, but anyway, Ben okay. Also now why I'm getting this error then? Local by 3000 only, so it will list product, list top product, set top product, product delete product, create product. Okay, create product is done. So create product should work. API create products and paste URL is localhost 3000. Correct only. Okay. Let's admin. Let's add some product. Brand, pen, stock 12, category 12, description. Okay, it's created. I guess so. It should created now. Okay, and let's go here. Okay, nice. We are getting the image, and let's check the bucket also. Perfect. We have our image inside that products. Here our image. So successfully done. And S3 bucket integration in our system. Now every image will be not coming in our upload. See that we don't have that image. You see that you don't have that image. See that was image name was actually go to bucket and see that image name. Apex Pro Mini. We don't have Apex Pro Mini here, so it is being uploaded to -3 bucket. Okay, so nice, we have done this. We can remove this upload folder also. We don't no need require that because we shifted it everything to S3. Okay, now we have done this thing. Now we have to do the same thing in Docker. So in the Docker also, now we have created environment. So in your Docker file, we will create our environment here for the backend environment, and as well as the URI will change. We will load everything from this from environment. Okay, we'll do next, and once it's done, we are ready to deploy this application. And once the user, I will show you using Docker how we can set the image, and we'll fill the database there. Okay, so let's commit our changes first. You have learned something today. S3 image upload for product done. So next we will do how to do in Docker side. Okay, we'll set up the environment for Docker, and once we done, I will create the user first there in this side, and of course we don't have anything. Ship the application to our GCP server, and we deploy it successfully. So hope you learned today. See you next.